Okay, now we're better. We're better now. Just rallying the troops at the moment. Keep in mind there's going to be a bit of a delay, kind of like all my other streams. I'm gonna have to turn the volume on my phone just enough so I know what I sound like. There's like a 3-second delay, but that's fine. Alright, so let's rally the troops. Yeah, so there was some weird error that happened, and it could happen again. So that's why it stopped abruptly. And once again, it could happen again, but hopefully in the description, the topics for today are written down. My bad, fam squad. Let me get some more peeps up in this house. Sheesh. You got 25 XP. Yeah, I have... That's relatively new, the whole XP thing. But... Self-love. Self-love. I love it how in, like, apps... Like, I've seen in dating apps... One of the hobbies... Just for fun, I looked it up. One of the hobbies on Tinder is self-care. Self-care is a hobby. What even is that? Is that like... That's a hobby. That is the greatest way of signaling, I could be a narcissist, and I may or may not be a woman. What guy is going to put self-care unless he's gay? No offense. If you're offended, I don't care. Swag. Alright, just making sure... yeah. Here we go. Just got to rally a few more people. And then we should be good to go on. Honestly, if we have just you, Andrew, in the chat and no one else, I'm satisfied. I'm fine. And obviously we gotta have loud noises in the background because that's how this house rolls. Gotta see anything else. Hold on. Don't run away. Who's off-brand Fidel Castro? I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up with the current stuff nearly as much. Actually, no, I think... Oh. Who is he dating, what? Katy Perry? Or Taylor Swift? Who's he freaking dating? I mean, being whipped by, if you know what that means. A.K.A. what woman is telling him what to do every day? Aw, isn't it the perfect match in hell? Jesus died for them, but they are too spiritually rich, let's just say, to give two hoots. Hashtag pray for them. Alright, fam squad. So as I stated, today's topics are in the description. So first off, Reconstruction Period. So I'm going to get the boring stuff out of the way, and most of it's going to be the fun stuff. So yeah, back in June of 2023, I started the Reconstruction Period. Technically, it started in 2020 when I was doing the second K-12 revision, and I was really trying to reboot my channel and upload all these videos that I've now archived. One of the reasons being the music wasn't updated, the art was kind of crappy, in my opinion. So the real Reconstruction Period, aka me revising, editing songs I thought sounded crappy, the concepts weren't pulled off properly, etc. All that started June 2023, and it kicked off with Warp Space 1, actually. Now, Warp Space 1 was really only just remastered, so I was just trying to fix some EQ issues, but I think I actually failed But what really mattered in the end were the visualizers that I uploaded. I was really happy with the Warp Space 1 visualizers because it had feeling. It didn't look try hard, except maybe the full EP visualizer. There were just a few things I could have done better, like I should have had only one waveform or whatever. But I was really super happy with the album cover. Once again, could have been a little better, but I knew what the odds. I knew that I had a shoot for perfect, and I know that always in reality is going to be a little below that. I mean, that's art. At the end of the day, it's the compromise between an artist's vision and reality. So that's just something everyone has to deal with. Perfectionism is literally self-delusion. So Warp Space 1, I had a bit of a delay with releasing, or at least in terms of what I wanted. And I didn't realize that Sounddrop was doing its best to release it. It was on me for setting the release date early and then expecting them to chop, let's get it out immediately. So then over July and very slightly into August, I campaigned for K2L. That was super. I was really happy about that, especially the live streams I had then. Once again, I never intended on having 3 live streams for K2L. That's the way the cookie crumbled. And the last one is 4 hours long, which I do not intend to ever repeat. And then Solar Experiments I wanted to do a live stream for. I campaigned for that, and a few of the things that were missing from Solar Experiments were, number one, in the hard copy, I didn't do art for every single song, which is what I would have wanted to do, but I was running on fumes at that point, as what always happens when I work heavily on just anything, which I tend to do. The second thing was that I wanted to do visualizers for every single song on Solar Experiments, which I also couldn't do. So when you go on my channel and you go to the playlist, most of the songs are just auto uploads from my distributor CD Baby. Same thing with Warp Space 1 with the non-singles. Solar Experiments, I couldn't think of what to really cover on the live stream. And I didn't think anyone would want to stick around just staring at the album cover and me talking about stuff that I didn't really know what to talk about. So there was no live stream for that. Now, on to Era of Optimism. So all those 3 CDs were campaigned for, TikToks, they got shorts, hard copies, distribution, the whole shebang. Era of Optimism is slightly weird. So visualizers, I think these are my best visualizers thus far, aside from Ultramarine. Maybe even technically better. These are the first songs that I've actually written lyrics for and recorded my vocals for. So I'm hoping people can get past the somewhat bad singing, in my opinion. Final version of Era of Optimism that will be released, I'm going to try and have as good vocals as you could get studio quality. Sadly, no promises. And just a heads up, when Era of Optimism comes out, at least half of the album will still be instrumental. But this is my first album where I'm kind of de-emphasizing the whole Christian instrumental idea, but it's still going to be persistent in my music. It's just the lyrics will kind of hopefully draw a larger crowd and it'll be more enjoyable to listen to. So you don't have to rack your brain I wouldn't have to expect people to rack their brain to try and figure out meanings and all that. The reason why Era of Optimism hasn't already come out is, once again, running on fumes. It's been honestly hurting my brain just working on the most of the album at this point. But I am trying desperately to get it out next week. Because of the whole running on fumes thing, we may get another Solar Experiment situation where no visualizers will come out aside from just generic distributor uploads for my channel. And we may not have a live stream, so this is kind of compensation for that. Anyway, 15th Parallel will hopefully be campaigned for from second half of August into September. And that leads us to, and again, 15th Parallel, I don't know what's going to happen at the end. Warp Space Trilogy. I was hoping to release Warp Space 3 by early July. That was honestly a terrible idea, and I'm not releasing Warp Space 2 this year. In fact, I was going to already be uploading my cover songs, like covers of songs like Phendrana Drifts, Torvus Bog Catacombs, which is also a song from an earlier Metroid game. Potentially some Christian and King Crimson covers. I'm gonna do a light version of all that. I was delusional to say that I want to go and all head on and all out for the covers. Realistically, more of those covers will have to be down the line. I was supposed to be doing them by now, but my plans are crappy because I put too much on my own plate and life hits me. So those most likely will come out just probably in September when I start working on BioArmor again. Anything else to talk about? I don't think so. And I don't know. I've only got one person watching still. Andrew, I love you. So now we got 3 peeps. Hi, second person. Well, it says 3, but I think it's just 2 because I'm also watching myself as well. So tell me if you guys can hear this and tell me if it's too loud. I don't know who else is in here. I can only tell if people reveal themselves, which a lot of the time they don't like doing because, I don't know. Alright, so feel free to have a gander at my screen. One of the exciting things I wanted to open up about was 2 new plugins that I just recently got. One of them on my birthday, which was Tuesday, so I am now 25 years old. And I'm not going to say I'm an uncle because screw everyone who says that at the end. So this one is called randommetal. This plugin right here. Let me pop it open. So this was made by a company I just recently found out about. They're a Belgian company who's made numerous interesting plugins such as Random and randommetal. And this has 12 different slots for what? Well, they have different drum. This is a drum synthesizer with various drum synth engines. Thank you, by the way. Thanks for the happy birthday. So randommetal has. Oh, hold on. I gotta increase that size. Please don't look at my license. How do I make this bigger? Am I allowed to make this bigger? Am I not? I don't freaking know. Whatever. I can make myself smaller, though. Alright. So anyway. So it has various synthesis engines based off of types of metal, none of which I've ever heard of. They've got chromium, lithium, litherite, radonium, ferritite, etc. And it's really cool. It has its own unique kind of lingo, and one of the kind of the main features they've incorporated is randomization. So I've still kind of tried to fully grapple how impactful the whole randomization feature is, but I mean that's why it's called randommetal. So I'm gonna first just kind of play around with it, and one of the things that I found weird is that you would expect there to be a kick drum / bass drum here and a snare. There is not. It's just generally grouped as a drum because you could shape the drum engines into either kick, snare, or something else, which I find just a bit disappointing. But once you incorporate effects after it to further sculpt the sound, that's when you really get a bang for your buck from basically any plugin. If you're just gonna stick raw to the synth or the what have you, I mean, it's self-defeating limitation, and sometimes I engage in that, but then again, that's because sometimes I just don't need additional effects. Let me stop wasting time. Let's try this out. Oh, one more thing. I was hoping to set up my second camera of my machine, but right now I can't get my USB hub. I don't want to deal with it because I only have one USB hub at the moment, and it very easily kind of disconnects. So you guys will just have to deal with not being able to see my drum machine, sadly. Alright. hold on. Let me relocate this because my first pad is starting to really fight me. So it's hard to sometimes hit it and have it actually activate. It's a nice juicy kick. I'm actually gonna do this. Yes, I tend to. This is what a producer does on average. So we tend to play a sound over and over and over ad nauseum. But over time we sculpt it rather than me constantly hitting this. So for me, this is very quiet only because my laptop has very weak speakers. Yes, swag YOLO because we be producing up in this existence. Now, the thing in the middle, obviously it's a visualization of the type of metal, as far as I know. I don't think it would be a random generic metallic alloy that they just made out of nowhere. I think it's based off of the actual metallic alloy. It's basically a visualization of the audio, but also as you modulate two different parameters assigned to the XY pad, it rotates along with it. So this is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of world that lives behind the electronic music that the average person listens to and has no idea. That's why I'm so emphatic about art, graphic user interfaces like this, and synesthesia, because it really, really makes the music less of a chore and more of this multimedia experience. I'm going to try and pull snare out of this. Now that's definitely a clap. I don't like the pitch bend. So this is where the randomization comes in. It randomly manipulates different parameters. I initially thought that internally it modifies the sound itself. This way, these wouldn't be modulated, but the drum synthesis engine itself would put out a slightly different noise sound, but it doesn't. So I want more of a trip hop tempo. It changes to different matter. Stop playing that over and over and over, and I'm going to try and bang something out. Again, this. I have to get our new machines. This is ever so slightly broken. Alright, we really want those So that sounds cool. So you can assign different variations of this. This way you could almost kind of build a kit out of it. It's a bit weird for me right now. I really like this. This almost sounds like a rim shot. So if you don't know what a rim shot is, when you have a snare, a lot of the time, sometimes it's called a cross stick. You basically put the snare halfway, like from the center outward, and you hit the side of it, and it creates this really laid back sound that sounds more like a stick hitting a side of a drum rather than an actual snare sound. Ooh, that's nice. So I'm gonna suck it up and just deal with this as a snare. I'm gonna load another instance. I want this. This I'm definitely going to be using on BioArmor and future albums. Alright, so that's cool. Again, I'm not going to be able to sculpt it as good as you guys are hearing on your speakers because if I plug in my headphones, let's see. Why am I not using headphones? Am I low IQ? Low IQ Exero confirmed. Oh, it's scary. My window's open. It's stuck out. Oh, my foot. American foot boy. Nice to know I have 2 people in the chat. Okay, can you guys still hear? Let me not blow out my ears. Okay. Now I can really tell what the heck I'm hearing. All right. Jesse, we need to cook meth. No, we don't. I don't know who this Daniel is you're speaking of. I only know an Exero in this room. What is going on, my Jessington? right now. That's weird because the stereo doesn't seem to really be working. It's not really working the way I thought it would, so whatever. So just letting you guys know that even though this is what you're seeing right now is my second monitor, that if I was showing an external camera and I put this on my laptop is touchscreen, so I could actually interact with this like it's basically an extension of my keyboard. So I want to map Y to modulation wheel. So Jesse, I'm just kind of making a song out of thin air. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be getting into, but we're going to build a song from ground up. And so right now I'm showing off some new plugins that I got. Oh, here's resize. Praise God. So, yeah, I got this for my birthday and a distortion plugin called Coldfire, which I'll show in a second. I might actually use it on this entire drum kit that I'm building right now. This one I want a bit more out of it, so. Now the challenge here is getting all the sounds to sound like they are related to each other. So first off, this sound has a lot of these interesting kind of techish kind of resonation with like this really nice rattle. Oh, see you, Jesse. Bye bye. Ah, no fun. Now the easy way to make them cooperate is literally have the same matter. So for now, I'm going to use the same metal type. I'm not using the same metal type. Is this the same one? Ferrite. There we go. Greetings, new existence. Sorry that it keeps switching back and forth, but that's life right now. Now my issue right now is it's not strong enough. So now I have to change the different matter because it's a cool kick sound, but it's too weak. Before I do that, let me see if I can tweak it a bit more. Andrew, congrats, you're the main character. Hold on, guys. We could use the same metal. I still have yet to completely understand the loud and quiet equalizers, I guess. So that's still something I have to look into. Continues to talk about useless things about myself. Like, my favorite pencil color is yellow. Yeah, let's try a different type. So as you notice, stretch and decay sound similar, but they're actually different. So I think this has to do with more of the resonator. These are actually, no. I don't entirely know how they differ. But it seems like both are quite drastic in terms of how they affect the sound. Hashtag love yourself. Follow your heart. Alright, now we're going to just grab some hi-hats. I'll just get some generic ones for now, or not as cool, but these are drum synths that I've used since Solar Experiments, and I still like them. They sound a bit peculiar. They sound somewhat limited, but at the same time, they're really cool regardless. Like, for example, you have different kick types, something simple. This is something more like an 808 kit. This is more of a 909 type kick. By the way, those are different drum machines that Roland produced that have been extremely impactful on electronic music. I believe they were made either in the 80s or 90s. These are now diving more into physical modeling territory. Physical modeling is basically modeling it after real life on physics. For example, when you have a snare, you have the drum skin on top. You have the resonator, which is basically the chamber, the rest of the chamber of the snare. It's basically the body of it. Similar to how a cello has this big body and a hole in it, because without it, the cello wouldn't be nearly as loud. Same thing with an acoustic guitar. So the snare has also the resonator, which is the chamber of the snare, the bottom skin, and springs beneath it, which kind of rattles and pushes the snare sound a bit further. So this is basically a digital emulation of that kind of concept, but in specifically digital ways that you're not going to get in real life. Hence why physical modeling is a synthesis technique and not a real life thing. It's emulation. I was just showing these different kick types, but I'm trying to get a hi-hat. I typically like memory the most, but circuit I'm going to be using in a future album a lot. This is circuit. Maybe I'll use it now. I don't know what's wrong with my drum machine right now. It's being kind of resistant, and that's very concerning in my opinion. actually kind of works. Nah. I'll have to try something like Reflex, for example. Now the distortion comes in, so I'm going to apply that to the entire group. Copy this, paste this here, so we have it closed, and then an open hi-hat. So closed and then open. Again, I'm probably going to modify more of this stuff later. So this is going to be closed. And then this has to choke this, so they're going to be a choke group. A lot of modern hip hop and trip hop, they don't want, the hi-hat doesn't choke itself, so it has this very choppy sound, which I typically don't like. I really like it where it's more like a natural hi-hat, where you either open it or close it, and when you leave it open, it rings out, but when you take your foot off the pedal, it closes itself. So yeah, more on that never. CNC, which I kind of like right So I've just immediately decided this is a bad idea to use these drum synths right now because they sound completely unrelated. I'm also starting to get a little cranky about the snare because the kick sounds great and the snare sounds interesting, but they kind of, I can't seem to get a kick to match the snare right now, but we're going to deal with it anyway. Probably want like a shaker in here somehow. It sounds very natural and complements the snare a lot. Since that snare has some rattle in it, I just have to. There we go. That's. Oh my gosh, lo-fi hip hop producers would probably orgasm at that sound. Oops. Depending on the audience, it may not be Christian of me to say, but if it's just the boys, we laughing out here. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, that kind of humor, fam squad. I don't want it that aggressive, though. I really like the character of it, but it has this really nice, hollow, almost bamboo-ish sound I've just noticed. So that's the rest of it with the kick. So anyway, back to the hi-hat I was talking about. Again, I think the kick is too aggressive for the snare, but right now we'll just let it be. Ooh, I like that. I like that as an initial preset. It's very, it sounds realistic, but realistic more in the sense that it doesn't sound like it's synthetic. That's how you can tell how this is a good drum synth. It's got variety. I'm just blabbing. I'm yapping, as girls say sometimes. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. When I take my finger off the pad and cut off the note or stop it, it triggers it again, but in a different way. I don't know. That's like a complete unit for some weird reason. Yeah, I'm just the shaker just seems like the best bet. Or you know what? I might go back to the snare material and see if I could pull out a shaker. Alright, so we're gonna go back to drum. I think it was like ferritite. In fact, the smarter option is to just copy and paste it. But then we're gonna try and pull out the shaker sound, like I said. Make myself even smaller, aka insignificant. There we go, because it sounds very cuppy. Not the best way to describe that, but it sounds like it answers the snare at the very least, which is the right direction. I'm going to copy and paste this, and they're going to be close and open hi-hat. Let me just save this as individual loop work. Random metal. Alright, now I want this to, just in the same way the snare I want to be, I like that kind of transition where you can kind of modify how much of that rattle you're hearing and other kind of spicy parameters in there. So I'm also going to map that to, stop disobeying your father. Now I'm going to try and increase the sound, so I'm going to bring this back. But I want to bring it I want to just reduce the amount of low mid frequencies there's in this, because it's not hi-hatty enough. It's now starting to get into the shaker territory, which is what I'm trying to get at. copy and paste once again. Paste. This one. Stop making me do that. I can't get that with any other synthesizer with ease. That's going to be turned down to not blow our ears out. So I want this entire kit to get just a bit more of a nudge. It still needs to sound like it's all part of one thing. I actually kind of like that when it's not choked. So now I've got a different idea. I'll just call this I'll just call it a sheet. Sheet metal, even though it's not. So this is gonna be like I'm going to be alternating. Bit hard to play both hands, but that's a sick groove right there. Oops. Yeah, I suck at that. Now, I want a bit of groove in this because I really want this to be surefire hip-hop, no doubt about it. I'm trying to humanize this, which is a kind of annoying that in Mixcraft you could just do this by yourself, but in Machine, right now it doesn't seem like I can humanize the So humanize basically means it's not perfect, because whenever a human plays something, it's not going to be perfect. So when you have everything to the mathematical grid, it doesn't sound good, in my opinion. A lot of my music, I still have to remember to do that, because for the most part, I haven't really been using humanize too much, but I gotta remember that. What's up, mystery person? I kind of couldn't really hear myself in that moment. I'm just randomly making some music, and if you're interested in my news of what's going on with my music right now, you can quickly just skip to the beginning of the stream, but it's probably kind of boring stuff. I was just basically saying my current work in progress, revisionist effort, Air of Optimism, is hopefully going to come out next week, but I can't make any promises because I'm burnt out, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we're making some sick trip-hop beats with this drum synthesizer that I bought on my birthday, which was Tuesday. And once again, it is a drum synthesizer. It exploits a lot of randomization. I don't want to hit it right now because I like what I've crafted. But the drum synthesis engines are based off of different metallic alloys, as far as I know. You get a nice little visualization of what's going on. And since we like visuals up in here, I've assigned oh, cool. Oh, cool, nice. Welcome. I guess this is the perfect kind of genre for you to hop on for. So anyway, because my drum machine is kind of sucking right now, I've been using it to input the step types rather than play it. Initially, I was playing it, and sadly, I can't show you guys it right now because I'm lazy. But I've got my drum machine right that I'm using to cue all this stuff in. So let me just show you. So I'm gonna modulate the Y-axis using my mod wheel. So sorry that it's kind of giving you a seizure there with flipping back and forth quickly. I just want to have one more little element in there. Once again, the freaking shaker that I keep getting rattled up about. I'll be here all night, guys. Alright, so once again, hopefully my computer doesn't crash with the amount of modules I'm dumping into it. Nope. Ooh. So once again, the whole key to making a really nice drum kit is things have to sound like they're in the same world. So the one unique characteristic that shaped this entire kit was based in the snare, that kind of almost rain stick style rattle. Since we out here loving visualizations. No! It sounds nice, but I don't think it fits. It almost sounds like it fits, but not in my mind. Sorry to those of you that are a fan. Guys, poll in the chat if you like that drum engine, and maybe I'll bring it back. Wake up! Ooh. Oh, we're getting something, guys. Whoa. Ooh, I like that room, that nice round room sound. That really adds like almost a dimension to the room. Oh, let's not go over there. That spoils the fun of this. I'm trying my best to get everything to just sound more glued together because it still sounds way too isolated. Last puzzle piece I think that will make everything sound glued together. And this is just the base layer of the drum kit. I like the idea of adding more stuff, but I want to move on to different sounds because it's like been at least 30 minutes and we're only with this one kit. Thanks for sticking around, y'all. Again, we don't want them to be perfect. This way it sounds human. It's got this nice kind of flammy sound, just a drum articulation. Could work, but I just don't want that right now. But that kind of works. Nice. almost sounded good. What the heck? One thing that I really like is not using reverb to create a room sound, but using convolution. Convolution, if you don't already know, is... So basically, you could use almost anything as a convolution input, but basically it takes real-world sound recordings, like anywhere from recording the dimensions in this... the reverberation within a cathedral, to reverberation in the woods, reverberation of my room. So literally all you have to do is take a special microphone that records the kinds of things. Do that really loud, and you can capture the that sound, input into the convolution, and basically, for example, I wanted to record the convolution of my room. I could put the reverb of my room in here, just say dance blue room reverb, or go to a cathedral, do this, record it. This probably has a much longer, it will definitely have a longer decay time. Now it sounds like your Beatz or synths or whatever are in that cathedral. So, I have one that's really good called Reflector. It's in Guitar Rig 7, and Reflector is actually quite old. I think it was made in like maybe at the 2010, somewhere around that time. It's just old, but it's really good. It's at least a decade old, I want to say. All right, so, and they updated the graphic of this for Guitar Rig 6 or 7 or whatever, and it used to look a lot different. I still have the original look on Guitar Rig 5, but I'm kind of defaulting to Guitar Rig 7 now. So that's actually something I've already been using. You guys just haven't heard me use it yet. This is a really good space. It sounds very tight, almost like it's in a small air vent. And that's something that I like to kind of use here and there in sci-fi contexts, which you guys have yet to hear in my music. That actually sounds pretty good. I like that. I forgot what an Erdo is, so this may be an accurate title. Let's say that. No, you freaking like you thing. Groups. Export groups. All right, now we definitely got to add some more stuff in there. All right, so actually, the first thing I wanted to, the thing I wanted to do initially, but never got around to it, was use Coldfire. Now, in my opinion, this would be ruined with Coldfire, but just for the sake of glorifying Coldfire and glorifying the Lord through Coldfire, and Bitpunk is a secret weapon I have right now, which I'm not going to show at the moment because Coldfire is the other object. Other software that I purchased for my birthday or obtained or whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna turn this down so your guys' ears don't blow out. So yeah, distortion plugin. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different distortion methods. Germanium is one of my favorites at the moment. The reason why it's one of my favorites is because it something about it sounds super, like, just really natural. It almost sounds like something if it was in a radio. If you blew out your mic in a way. In fact, that's literally one of the options, the two features for Germanium. Basically, all of these are good. Bit inverter is very interesting, which a Bitpunk I use has it. I could almost use that in a very subtle way, like this. So yeah, that's cool. Now, just for the sake of using this again, Coldfire, because it really deserves attention, we're just going to mess around with it for now, even though I'm definitely not using it on the kit. So, you've got all these different distortion types, and you have two instances of them. You could put in a pre-filter for it, and a lot of the time filters are really helpful with just effects in general, namely a distortion, because it allows you to kind of tame and sculpt the sound. I wouldn't really ever want to put distortion just clean on, unless if it's like Mullihan distortion, for example. Or actually, you know what, I don't know if here and there, I'll just leave it be, but what I'm talking about is having it kind of act like and create some little variations of distortion, like based off of how loud you're playing it. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling, but here, let me show you what I mean. That actually sounds pretty cool in its own right. But now, one of the coolest parts of the synth, besides just the automation section, there we go. I don't know why I was hiding. So you've got all these different ways that you can modulate follower is really cool. I always love followers. I love having followers. All right, so let me show y'all. So I'm not necessarily going to want this sound, but let's check this out. So yeah, that's what an envelope follower does. It literally follows the amplitude of the input signal. You can modulate the sensitivity in different ways, which is cool, but right now, once again, even in this kind of hypothetical use of Coldfire, which I'm not going to commit to ultimately, I think. Yeah, whatever, I don't know. Oh, the last feature I was going to show, which I'm actually going to commit to in this hypothetical, is the different ways that you can route the two different distortion modules to interact with each other. So serial, so this goes in first, and then this adds on to it. These you can swap, so that's not a routing option, it's just a feature. Parallel means it's got two different signals. So it's basically this one, and then if you were to have like a second duplicate of this, it processes into here. Which I'm not going to use. Stereo, left side processes this, right side processes this. So it's going to be germanium, for example. But the one I want to use is mid side. Now, one of modern producers' favorite features is to use a band split. So band split basically divides the frequency spectrum into two different sections that's going to be affected. The higher one, or the higher one, because my camera's reversed. The higher one, or whatever, it doesn't matter. The higher one gets one distortion method. The lower, the bass frequencies get the other one. So, for example, and this is basically the dividing line of the frequency bands. So I would actually just... And that actually sounds good in this instance. And it's almost completely isolating the kick drum on its own, because almost everything within the drum kit is mids and up, like maybe even low mids and up. And some of the snare is also getting that, which is fine because I want everything to sound glued together. So thick will allow it to kind of sizzle in a way, so I want that really up there. So it sounds just a bit of almost like saturation here. So basically I might really use Coldfire in this instance, but it's a subtle use. More often than not, I'm going to use this in a very aggressive way, especially for like sci-fi related context. But right here, this is more of a just kind of a sculpting, further pushing it down the line kind of usage. So I think that actually really, really gives it more character. Because technically when you're distorting things, you're adding harmonics. And in this case, everything is starting to have... Everything in the sound output is... They're added harmonics, but they're all kind of receiving it in a similar way. Of course, the high end is receiving one type, the low end is another. But that is almost a kind of a unique way of making everything sound like it's in the right home. There's one little kind of articulation I want to add in, and then maybe other synths. And we'll probably call it a night, because I'm starting to get tired now. There we go. I don't know what... Oh, I know what's going on. It crossed over a line somewhere. Okay. So now I want to break out a synth. So I already made a preset called Shoestring Pluck, and that debuted in the bonus track to K2L called Amazon Dreams. So it's kind of like this oriental sounding pluck string sound. I'm going to put that in. And there's already an arpeggio that was created for Air of Optimism, which you'll hear when it comes out. But I'm going to debut it right here. If I can remember how it goes, it'll be an approximation if I whatever I input. I think weirdly enough, Absinthe 5 stereo doesn't render in stereo. Absinthe 5 renders in stereo, not the literal stereo descriptor of it. So this is one of my favorite synthesizers ever because it's so unique. So yeah, we're already in that territory. This sounds a bit like that. That's going to be an Air of Optimism. Oh no, that was actually... So this is going to be a polyrhythm I'm going to put in. And if not, I'll just kind of force it into 4/4. I might have actually had that additional note in, but we'll just make it work. Sounds kind of interesting, but I will just cut it off there. I'll add one last thing, and then I might hop off at this point. I don't know if you guys have been chatting still, because the top chat kind of, I'm not receiving any comments, but that's all right. If no one's saying anything, that's fine. I don't know. I don't know that. Where the heck is YouTube app? All right, so let's just see if my peeps are still here. So out here. Okay, so no one's really left a comment, which is fine. A message. Now, actually, this is another gift I received on my birthday. It's called Starless and Bible Black by King Crimson. Oh, wow, that. So this is already mirrored. Oh, I just noticed that, because typically in pictures it's flipped. And a lot of people get used to what they look like in a mirror. But when you see them when other people see them in real life, it's actually the mirror of what they look at in the mirror. Anyway, this album has some oriental sounds, somewhat oriental sounds, like the Night Watch, for example, which is one of the tracks on the album. So in this iteration of King Crimson, we have Robert Fripp on guitar and mellotron, David Cross on violin, electric viola, and mellotron, John Wetton as vocalist and bassist, and Bill Bruford on the drums and percussion. Quite a great album. And even cooler is that King Crimson loves improvising, especially as a group. So a lot of the time, everyone will just start these improvs. No one knows what they're going to play. The whole idea is to discover in this kind of intimacy with the band. They're kind of nudging it to life out of nowhere. Almost kind of like a fetus growing in the womb. It starts off as kind of ideas that the band is suggesting to each other. One, Bill Bruford may suggest a xylophone part. John Wetton will play something, and they'll start to kind of shape, and it'll start to kind of walk at some point onto its own, and they get into a solid groove. And sometimes, and all of this is, everyone communicates just by ear and knowing each other. No verbal communication, and that's how group improv typically goes. And I love that stuff. King Crimson, throughout their entire tenure, would always do that kind of stuff. And half of Starless and Bible Black is actually live recordings of improvs, but they edited it in a way where they were somehow able to isolate the audience. And this was during the 70s, so that was not easy. They both did studio recordings, and they isolated out any audience sounds, so it all sounds like it's a complete studio album. So anyway, I'm going to drop in some sort of pad. I'm going to put in this synthesizer called Ashlight, which I started using with BioArmor, which you'll hear at some point. And there's this really cool sound called She Is Lying, which uses an Indian instrument, I think, called the santur. I forgot exactly. I think it is called the santur. All right, why is it not doing the classic view? There we go. Yes, it is. Ashlight. Here we go. Wunderbar. Very thankful that modern plugins you can resize on the spot. You don't have to go into any menus. Not all my plugins are like that, though. So this one's basically a modified version of She Is Lying. I call it She Is Truthin'. So yes, it is center. So apparently I did not modify this enough. This was just a placeholder for the final version. This is something that I made that I'm very proud of. Works better at a faster tempo like this. I have to modify this because this is not the grain that I want to use in the sound. Nice. Still got 3 peeps. Or 2, rather. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, this has to be more quiet. This way you could really hear that snare sound. So I'm going to try and create a soundscape or just like a pad sound. Or I'll probably just find one since again I'm kind of getting tired. Sounds cool for now, though. I don't think it's going to fit, but just for the sake of us enjoying that sound. This thing swells for a while, and I wanted to reduce that, but I don't know how to do it right now. I'm kind of getting a little antsy with making this. My bad, wrong key. That's going to be an inversion. So the root is here. The top key should be up here, but it's inverted, so it sounds nicer. So yeah, that sound doesn't work in my opinion. It's too dry. I want something chiller, more detail. But theoretically, it does actually work. Again, my ears, my live stream, my rules. Yeah. Something simple. Come on. Oh, that works. Oh, I just don't like the distortion. Way too slow. Kind of want to switch up the key just a bit, a little brighter, make everything a little brighter, because this sounds a bit too depressing. I want it to sound kind of... And this synth, the pad, is a bit too dissonant for my taste right now. Once again, this is just kind of a rough idea. I forgot the key we're in. I thought we were in G. Alright, so that's where we'll go. Still too dissonant. Still too disturbing, so I'll just push it in the background. Alright. Hold on. Emerald, there's a, alright, so there's a pack I want to explore. Called, alright, so not that. It's the, no, I want, like, the, I don't want to see the instruments, I want to see what it's from. There we go. What's wrong with you? Oh, frig. Why is it not showing me the type? It's so weird. No, that's not there we go. Goodness. Yeah. So I want Halcyon Skies, but it's not showing me the expansion pack that's from. I'm not okay with that. Alright, whatever. Oh, by the way, guys, I should be coming out with hopefully 2 or at least 1 comedy video tomorrow. So yeah, I might be the only one left in the chat, but just for the sake of the recording, I'm gonna finish this idea. that little idea was actually from the song, shows it. It's called City Kids from when this was released, which is a really cool song. It's so sad that it's just not, it's just a demo and it sounds so good. So that's not in tempo, but I could kind of emphasize the lack of tempo a bit more in a cool way. And then we'll call it a day. I actually kind of already know what this is going towards in terms of... Technically, I'm also working on a new album that is yet to be named. I do that every summer in between BioArmor, even though this is at the same time of the Reconstruction Period. And I'll just tell you what the name of the song is right now. Native Instruments Machine 2. And this song is called Exotica. I believe it's going to be part 2. It might change names. Right now it's called Exotica. So, I guess that's it for today's live stream. Who's ever left, which is probably, I don't know. So now it shows 2 people, which I think is just 1 person. Who's ever left in the chat, let me know if you want me to continue working on this, maybe try something new, or just call it a day. I'm open to either. Oh yeah, there's just a few second delay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it quits now. Thank y'all, and I'll see you in the next stream or the next video or whatever I do on Instagram. Oh Oh yeah, I already gave an update on Instagram, so everything's fine. One very, very, very last thing. I just want to acknowledge that for years, initially on Instagram, I would just do kind of vlog style live updates, and the last time I think I've done any of those kinds of things was I think it was actually in 2023 with Solar Experiments. Actually, you know what? No, it might have been this winter, but I want to continue doing that because I want that to be kind of a recurring thing throughout all of Exero, the Exero world. So, yeah, because it feels human, and once I stop doing things unannounced, for my sake, it feels very unstable and less homely, if that makes sense. So, thanks. Thanks for watching.